Okay, so what we intend to do are a few questions based on the list. If you remember what we were doing, we were working on the list concepts, functions, and now we are working on the programs. Okay, I'll take up a basic code first where we actually try to create the list so that we kind of revise it, that part too. And then we work on the questions further. Okay, so you'll keep on writing simultaneously with me. Write down the questions which we plan to do. Let me see how many we can today. First one you would write is create a list of values. Good morning, Shreyas.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah. Please write down the question I'm asking you to write. Create a list. Find the maximum value from there. Now you'll say, ma'am, please, I'm having the max function directly we can use. No, we need to learn how the code works. If it is a direct function question, we can use max, but otherwise we have to learn how the code works. Okay. Next is finding the minimum from a list of values. Finding the minimum value from a list of values. Next question is find the maximum element and its position. So I'm doing the position in a separate program. Okay.
Ma'am, can you repeat the third question?
Yeah, the third question is find the maximum element and the position where it occurs in the list. Find the maximum element and find its position in the list. Good morning, Jigmet. Find the position of the element in the list. Okay.
Ma'am, are we doing a worksheet question?
These are part of the worksheet. These are part of the worksheet only. So go ahead. Right? Okay. Then next one. Accept a list of values. Accept a list of values. Full stop. Create three different lists. Create three different lists storing all the positive, negative, and zeros. Storing all the positive, negatives, and zeros. Storing all zeros in a list does make sense. But anyway, storing all the positive, negatives, and zeros. Next one, which you will do yourself on the basis of the one which we do here in class. Create a list of numbers. Create a list of numbers. Oh, sorry, accept a list of numbers. I'm sorry. Accept a list of numbers. Create different lists storing. Create different lists storing numbers divisible by 2. Numbers divisible by 2, comma 3 and 5. So from all the numbers he gives me, I'm going to make three different lists. One will store all the numbers divisible by 2, one will store all the numbers divisible by 3, and one will store all the numbers divisible by 5. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we'll do the first question of the, if we get time today, the first question of the second worksheet, I think, which is that menu-based program, which implements all the functions, the menu-based format. Right? So let's start by the with the first question, that is your finding the maximum from a list. ठीक है? अब let's understand the basic process first. Is my ideally screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So I'm going to start by first creating the list. So let's do that. So this question is finding maximum from a list. Now to understand the process, एक बहुत simple situation imagine करो that you are in the class, a set of 30 students. I want to find out the person who has the maximum height. ठीक है? सब बैठे हो तुम लोग. Now how do I do it? I'm going to make, suppose my first child, whosoever is sitting on the first desk, suppose Mang is sitting there. So Mang, I take and mark him as the maximum for me. ठीक है? उसके पीछे ईथन बैठा है. मैंने ईथन को उठाया, मैंग के साथ कंपेयर किया. अगर ईथन मैंग से हाइट में बड़ा है, so I make ईथन as my maximum as of now. Right? I move further. Next is suppose Pari sitting. Now I'm comparing Pari's height with Ethan's height. If Pari is shorter, I will not make any change in my max. अभी भी मेरा max जो है वो Ethan है. And I continue to the next value. अगर Pari लंबी है, so I will change my maximum and say Pari is my maximum element as of now, maximum height element as of now. Are you getting my process? So every element is compared to one max which I'm creating. I'm just making one particular thing as the max first. Then I'm comparing every next value. जैसे ही कोई बड़ा नंबर मिलता है मैं मैक्स को चेंज कर देती हूँ. मुझे सिर्फ मैक्स वैल्यू चाहिए. So वो मैक्स का वैल्यू है, change it. And I proceed. Fine, that's the basic process. I hope you've understood it by imagining. Okay, now let's start with the thing. I am creating a blank list. So I first make the blank list like this. This is the way I make a blank list, right? Then I ask from the user how many elements you want to enter. This is something very basic we do, and we have been doing it for other questions also. Enter how many. Okay. Then I make my loop to run n times and accept data and store it in D. Correct? So for I in range n, I believe range n we understand 0 to n minus 1 times. So if user says 5 elements I want to enter, so range 5 will generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is also 5 numbers. 5 times my loop will run automatically. Okay? This is confusing. Then you kind of do it as range 1 से चलो n+1 तक चलो, क्योंकि n दोगे तो n तक वो नहीं चलेगा, and then every time increment the value by 1. I'm making comments here so that this part is not executed. This is a single line comment. And here, because I am doing it in the middle of the line, I'm using the multi-line comment method. 3 quotes, single quotes. These are not 2 double and 1 single. 3 single quotes start and 3 single quotes to end. You may write this also, because I का value हम कहीं use नहीं करेंगे. So 0 से n-1 तक चले या 1 से n तक चले, hardly matters to me. N times the loop should run. आपकी मर्जी, आप कैसे चलाओ उसको. ठीक है? Now, I come here in the indent and I first ask for my first value. जो पहली बार loop चलेगा. I'm taking all integer values itself. So, enter the number. This is a message displayed to the user multiple times, जितनी बार loop चलेगा. एक value लिया, अब append करना है मुझे. Now we have learned the method initially that this is how I'm going to use the plus operator to concatenate my list value specified like this into D. Okay, but I believe this is a little confusing. So keeping this as my Second way of doing it, now that you understand the functions well, let's do append method. D dot append num. This way my data gets added to my list. Okay. I want to display the contents of the list. So I give a message just to make it look better. I say user, or you have entered something like that. You have entered the following values. A message which is outside the loop. तो ये एक ही बार चलेगा. Yeah, inside the loop there are two statements only, these two. नंबर एक्सेप्ट करो अपेंड करो, नंबर एक्सेप्ट करो अपेंड करो, 5 बारी वो 5 नंबर्स लेगा और इसमें डाल देगा. Simple. Right? Now here I'm going to simply say that this is what you've entered. Now for printing also, I may use a direct statement. Okay. But now that I'm doing it in front of you, so let me show you the code to pick every element, because picking the element is the next important thing. Adding the elements to my list. ये नहीं आया तो आप क्वेश्चन शुरू ही नहीं कर सकते. Then is picking every element of the list, because your questions are going to be based on कि element को उठाओ चेक करो वो नेगेटिव है चेक करो वो पॉजिटिव है चेक करो वो इवन है चेक करो वो ऑड है या वो श्रेयस है नहीं है. You want to check find for a particular number, so you're checking whether it's equal to that or not. So I should be able to pick my values from the list. That is very important. If I know how to do it, I have no issues then. Okay, so let me learn the longer way to do it. This is directly the whole data is printed. मुझे वो नहीं करना. अब मुझे अगर every element को उठाना है तो list में what we have learned that values in the list have indexes. And to pick up the data from the list, I need the name of the list, square brackets, and the index. Square bracket closed. That is the method. So D का अगर 0th element उठाना है, so you should be writing D square bracket 0. D का first element उठाना है D square bracket 1. Right? D भी constant है, square brackets भी constant है. क्या change हो रहा है? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If my n is 5. ठीक है? So for these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, what I need? I will take a loop. Because मैंने अभी तुम्हें बताया ये if you write like this, he will generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 if n is 5. मुझे चाहिए वो value of, I'm going to use the value of n. So here I will not be using this statement. ठीक है? You want to use it like in that longer method, go for 0, n plus 1, 1. वो भी लिख सकते हो, but then that is stupidity because you have a smaller way of doing it. Right? So range is going to give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? Now, every time I want him to pick D of I. This D of I in this loop is going to pick every element one by one. जब I 0 है तो D of 0 pick होगा, जब I 1 है तो D of 1 pick होगा, जब I 2 है तो D of 2 pick होगा. आपको इस डेटा के साथ क्या करना है? At this situation, I'm going to print it only. Right? Nothing else. Correct? So, let me execute this part and show you that how exactly it works. I've accepted the data and I have printed it. List max is my question if I do like this. And I run it. Why unexpected? Have I missed out something? Oh, it's not taking it like this. उसको वहां मत लेके यहाँ पे तो मैंने अपने आप से इंडेंट लिया. Let me see it takes a second statement or not. Otherwise, we'll take it down. It's not taking it like this. It has to be in the beginning only. That's a thing we have to remember. My comments should be in the beginning. In that case, even my hash will work. I wanted it to work like that. That's why I gave multi-line. Otherwise, there's no point. I can give a single line also. Okay, so let's try this now. How many? I'm talking about 5. Let the numbers be 34, 56, 78, 9, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 बार लूप चला, 5 बार उसने numbers मांगे. Then it printed this line, which is neither in the ऊपर वाला loop nor in the second वाला loop. You can see it is outside the loop. That is why the indent is here. Then I take up this loop. Now every element is picked up one by one. Print statement is going to print in every new line. Hence you get this output. Okay. So the way to pick up your element from the list is the loop and the writing like this. बस ये समझ में आ गया तो problem sorted. Okay. Now I start with my next part of the program, that is finding the max. So this part of the program is now going to find maximum value from the list. Created display is done. Now finding maximum value from the list. Okay. What I said was that I am taking the first element. जो भी first element है, कुछ भी है उसमें. Like here I have taken 34. Right? So 34 as my max value. क्योंकि मुझे आगे का डेटा नहीं पता. Sorry, not like this. But D का 0th element. तो D का 0th element क्या है? 34. So it keeps 34 as my first element. Right? So D0 will give me 34. That is my M. Maximum element. Okay. अब मुझे लूप पे एक एक करके वैल्यूज को एक्सेस करना है. अब तुम 0th एलिमेंट के साथ उसको दोबारा कंपेयर कर सकते हो. इफ आई टेक फॉर आई इन रेंज एन, बिकॉज डी आई विल पिक अप डी ऑफ 0. और एल्स यू में से कि पहला तो मैंने उठा ही लिया है. लेट मी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट वैल्यू. है ना. अब मुझे क्या करना है? 56 को 34 के साथ कंपेयर करना है. अगर 56 बड़ा है तो एम के अंदर 56 आ जाए. फिर 78 को उठाना है. 78 आ जाए एम के अंदर बिकॉज बड़ा है. फिर 9 को पिक करेगा. 9 बड़ा नहीं है तो एम 78 ही रहेगा. फिर 10 उठाएगा और 10 को कंपेयर करेगा. बड़ा नहीं है तो 78 ही मैक्स रहेगा. लूप खत्म. उसने बाहर आके प्रिंट कर देना एम को एम के अंदर 78. सिंपल. ठीक है. तो इन ऑर्डर टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस अगेन कीपिंग इट सिंपल, आई एम सेइंग फॉर आई इन रेंज एंड एक इसमें वो एग्जीक्यूशन ज्यादा करेगा. D0 के साथ दोबारा एम को कंपेयर करेगा. इफ यू वांट टू अवॉइड दैट यू मे राइट 1 comma n. Okay. Now, yes, Mang, I just said that you may use the max function directly, but this being a code in the exam, if they say find the maximum from a list, okay, then I will not ask you to, I will not give marks if you're writing only max function directly. If the max execution is part of the program, or I'm asking you a one-liner code, write me the code to find out the max, just one-liner function to find the max, then it is okay. Otherwise, we have to understand how the max function works. No, I know Python makes things easier. हमें सीखना भी तो है. सीखेंगे कैसे otherwise? How will the logic building happen? Right? So here I start. If my D of I is greater than M at any point of time. Now I is 0. So D of 0 will be compared to M. M 34 है, D of 0 भी 34 है. तो इस केस में this is an extra comparison you're doing because you're starting your range from 0. You want to avoid it, you may write it from 1 because हम 0 को तो उठा चुके हैं already. उसको मुझे compare नहीं करना. Right? So even if I do like this, it is D of 1. D of 1 is 56. 56 is bigger than M. M is 34. Yes, it is. तो क्या करो? M को करंट वाला डेटा दे दो. करंट वाला डेटा क्या है? जो मैंने अभी DI में उठाया. D1 which is 56. So M के अंदर 56 आ गया. ठीक है. अब वो लूप के ऊपर गया. Just a second. What am I trying to do? I want to change the view. I'm not able to do that. Otherwise, it is not letting me show that. Wait a second. Fine. So here I have the code and the output window also. Right? Now let's see how it works. So my I is 1. D of 1 is what? 56. Is 56 more than M? M is 34 because I took it here. So D of I को M बना दो. तो मेरा M बन गया 56. Correct? Now I move up. I takes 2. Now D of 2, 0, 1, 2. D of 2 is 78. 78 M से बड़ा है. M 56 हो गया था लास्ट टाइम. और G बड़ा है. तो फिर चेंज कर दो. तो M की वैल्यू को बना दो 78. फिर ऊपर गया. I को लिया 3. अब D of 3 will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 9. Right? So now 9 is more than 78? No. So no change. ऊपर चला गया. Next value of I will be 4. D of 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Is 10 more than 78? No. तो कुछ नहीं करना. ऊपर चला गया. And the loop finishes. Because 0, 4 तक ही चला है ना. N 5 है. 4 तक चलेगा. And the loop is over. When the loop is over, I'm out of my loop. And I have my maximum at in the variable N. Right? So I'll simply write print. The maximum value is let's try this. 5. Enter the numbers. Let me do 34. Then a number smaller. Then 56. Then a number smaller. I want to keep 56 as my maximum value. So it would be anything. We had displayed the values too. So display has also come and the maximum value has also come. Right? Now, can you tell me what change do I simply make to pick the minimum value? Yes, I am waiting at the chat box. What change do I do to make my code pick the minimum value instead of the maximum? Quick, I'm waiting for your answers. I'm comparing the data. Correct. Right, Lam. What about others? Quickly, give me. One simple change will solve my issue. Come on. Whether right or wrong. Right, man. Whether right or wrong. But try. Because then I know how much you've understood. I can accordingly respond. Come on, have confidence in yourself that you can do it. I'm waiting at the chat window. Simply, I will change this symbol. Correct, Pari. Correct, Hiran. Very good. Very good. I expect others have also understood. So this particular small change, जहाँ पे हम बड़े को चेक करके चेंज कर रहे थे, वहां बड़े के केस में चेंज ना करके, now I'll change if the value is smaller. Simple. Let's quickly try this. How many? Maybe 6 of us. And the numbers 45, 3, 78, 100, 87. Oh, I didn't change the message. Sorry. The maximum value की जगह एक ये change भी होगा, the minimum value. Right? So left side of your notebook, you can write these two changes. You need to write the whole code. This is one change and this is one change. That's it. And the work is done for me. And I make this question now work for the third one. That is find the max from the list along with the position of it. कौन से position में वो element है? आई वांट टू नो कि वो कौन से पोजीशन पे है, फर्स्ट पोजीशन, थर्ड पोजीशन, 40th पोजीशन, 50th पोजीशन, ठीक है? आई वांट नो दैट. Here also it is very simple. The whole code, obviously finding the maximum element is same, so I will again change it back to it. Maximum only I'll keep it, because I want to print the maximum element along with its position. Okay. Now, ये जो position है, position हमारे पास किसके अंदर है? D of 0, D of 1, ये 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I is my position. है ना? Actually I के अंदर positions है. अब जब भी आपको नया डेटा मिल रहा है, that is you are comparing with the previous data and you are getting a bigger value, तो you are changing. जिस पोजीशन पे आप चेंज कर रहे हो, उस पोजीशन को पिक करके रख लो अपने पास. पहले उसने फर्स्ट पोजीशन पे चेंज किया तो 1 कर लो. फिर जब फिफ्थ पोजीशन पे चेंज किया 5 कर लो. सेवेंथ पोजीशन पे मुझे एक और बड़ा नंबर मिल गया, उसको 7 कर दो. 100 पोजीशन पे अगला वैल्यू मिला, उसको 100 कर दो. है ना? तो आई को उठा के मुझे, बिकॉज पूरा लूप जब चल के बाहर आएगा तो आई की वैल्यू ऑब्वियसली लास्ट है, ये वो पूरा लूप चल गया. But if I kind of take this I and place it in a variable, every time I change it, I can have the position too. इसमें क्या करो, whenever you make that change, एक position नाम से कोई भी variable के अंदर, just store the value of I. And this will only happen when you are changing, mind it. अगर वो compare किया बड़ा नहीं है previous value से, तो मुझे उसकी position नहीं चाहिए, फालतू में क्यों रखना है उसको. जब change हुआ तभी उठाओ, करेक्ट. बट क्या है, यूजर के लिए अगर वो थर्ड एलिमेंट है फॉर अस 0, 1, 2, 3, आई तो 0 से चलेगा, यूजर के लिए वो 1, 2, 3 है, इसीलिए वी विल डिस्प्ले द पोजीशन +1 करके. एंड द पोजीशन इज EOS में जो पोजीशन पिक करके वो मुझे दे रहा है, वंस द लूप टर्मिनेट्स +1. दैट्स इट. लेट्स execute. How many? 5 elements. So my answer should be 78 is the maximum element and position is 2. 78 is the maximum element and the position is 2. Have you got my point? Whenever your number is getting bigger and you are picking up the number and storing it, instead of only picking up the number, pick the I also and store, because उससे हमें उसकी position मिल जाएगी. लेकिन position मिलेगी मुझे 0 के हिसाब से, starting from 0. That is why while displaying it to my user, I will display it as +1. Am I clear with this? Say a yes or a no at least.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, great. What about others? Some people are very, very silent.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, show me a thumbs up. Okay, great. I'm getting a few. Griselda, Prachi, Spar, Shimanya. Prachi, Sarthak, Jigmet. Am I clear with this? Jasmine, Prabgun, Ishita.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great. Fine. Do we have more time? Or we have already exceeded? All the time? We have exceeded. Okay, so I will not keep you waiting. It's your lunch time. I mean, break time. So next tomorrow, we will do the next set of questions based on the list. Please open your notebook, practice them. Until unless you practice them, it will be a mystery to in your mind itself कि क्या हो रहा है और कैसे हो रहा है. Okay? Please do that. Okay then. See you tomorrow.